Gotta be honest here, folks. It brings me literally no pleasure at all in the world to be bringing you this next segment, but I have to. I have to be Mr. Consistent. If nothing else, do it for posterity, right? I have to let you know where each individual Piston is in their own specialized tier in my brain. I gotta let you guys know there's been a lot that's been going on in Pistons land. So let's talk about it. The newest edition, without further ado, of Knicks Pistons. Now, because some of you use this show as an audio experience, as always, I will do my best to coherently and elegantly explain where each player is in their tiers. Let's explain the tiers going from the top down. So up at the top, we have my friend, followed by relevant. Next up, in the NBA. Then we have a guy, and finally at the bottom, not in the NBA. So as always, let's start with who's in the bottom. The entire fucking team. You want to talk about a group of motherfuckers that are not real? These motherfuckers are not real. And if I wanted to be honest with myself about this, I shouldn't put any of the players in here. I should get a PNG of Tom Gores, of Tom Weaver, and of Monty Williams, and I should put those motherfuckers in here and not in the NBA. Those motherfuckers are not real. This team is not worth your time at all. Would not recommend. 0 out of 10. It's crazy in a week how fast I can go from like pretty level-headed about the situation to like dumpster fire. These guys stink. They stink. And that's what's frustrating is if you look at each individual guy, you're like, that guy doesn't stink. He doesn't stink. He does not stink. This guy, no way. This guy, Kevin Knox, he fucking stinks. But all these other guys, they don't. So what's going on? Because when Adam Silver gets up there and he tells the world who the Pistons drafted every year for the last 3 years, it ends up being someone who's pretty good. So the fish rots from the head. So which one is it? Is it Troy? Is it Tom? Is it Monty? Because at least when Dwayne Casey was here, and we didn't even have Cade for most of the time, by the way, last year. Even when Cade wasn't here, Dwayne had these guys like trying. And it's not that they're not trying. I'm not trying to be that guy. The Pistons are absolutely trying. Again, I'm not mad at the players. But there was like fight. There was something there. I didn't even get to watch the entirety of the last two Pistons games because, again, they're not worth your time. I stopped watching. For the Cavs game, it was when Max Strus threw some voodoo shit down at the rim, poster of the year. Get this shit off. I was like literally standing up to turn the game off. And right before I can even do that, Darius Garland, somehow the ball pinballs around. He has the ball in transition, and he puts up a 3, dagger. I closed the tab. I threw up. The Raptors game, I didn't make it far. Pascal Siakam brought down a rebound, took 4 dribbles across half court, kicked it out to OG Anunoby in the wing, right between the eyes. The Lord is my shepherd. I'm tired of this friggin' shit, honestly. Are we at the point where it's like, because we're not there. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to will that into existence. I do think that people who are... just to make fun of people for a second to kind of bring myself back down to earth. I think that people who are like, Cade's going to, when he requests a trade by the end of the season, you're insane. You're insane. Cade's not going anywhere. But I'm, how bad is it going to feel? How bad is it going to feel, Pistons fans, when next summer comes around and we were told again that we were going to like do something or like spend money or like actually use this cap space and get shit popping off. And then they're like, there actually just aren't that many players. The market just is kind of like, bleh, you know. They just don't have like positional needs, you know. We don't want to get guys just for the sake of getting guys, create log jams for no reason, you know, stunt the growth of our vets. Of our young guys. At some point, it is kind of weird that the guy that you drafted in the first round a year ago can't play. Like, okay, he's like not trying on defense. You don't think he's trying on defense, Monty Williams? Okay, like that's fine. Give him a fucking chance to figure it out, man. Because you drafted him 5th overall a year ago. maybe he's not in the plans moving forward. Like, I don't know. Again, something clearly is going on there. Have the Pistons soured on him? Again, there's a story out there where there's a version of events that maybe they don't actually care that much about him in the future. But I'm just some guy sitting in my fucking apartment. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This is what being a Pistons fan, quote unquote, does to a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, you look at Asar Thompson, you look at Jaden Ivey, you look at Cade Cunningham, you look at Killian, if we're being for real, hasn't been a dumpster fire this year. Isaiah Stewart, there's an NBA player there. Marcus Sasser, like a top 10 rookie right now. We have good vets. Like, Bagley's not playing bad this year. I'm sorry, Jalen Duren, I just like looked at him and didn't say anything. Jalen Duren, like, what are we... How is this team how are they so bad? How are they so bad? Because it's easy to rationalize when it's injuries. It is. And it's easy to rationalize when it's like, well, they just can't get to the free throw line. If they just got somebody that like got to the free throw line. I guess. But there's also just always somebody like just reaching in and like committing a dumb foul. There's always somebody getting in foul trouble too. It's just always something. You know, it's always something. And they'll figure it out, like they will. Don't be surprised when they figure it out, because they will. In the NBA, like in sports, like it always happens. And I say that very literally, like it always happens eventually. It being arbitrarily anything. Use James Harden as a good example, and I'm pissed that I didn't like say this because when we talked about him last week, I meant to bring this up. We can shit on James Harden all that we want, okay? And it can be hilarious that he has these like historically bad stretches where he will like dust off the bottom of his shoes while he's dribbling and then step into a 29-foot air ball. It's hilarious, okay? It's capital C content. Bolded, italicized, underlined content. I'm here for the clips. That is a fucking clip. But you know what happens eventually? James Harden is going to put together a string of 4 games where he averages like 46 points. Like, he's going to do it at some point this year. I don't care if you think he's washed. Like, he's going to go on an insane streak, and we're going to have to deal with, like, ooh, James Harden narratives for, like, a fucking week. I'm just letting you know that's going to happen. The same way that the Pistons at some point this year will put together, you know, a string of games where they're not winning, like, even 6 in a row. But, like, if they win 2 or 3, I'm serious. That's all it's going to take for people. If they get to... 1 win is just going to be like a, we won, thank God. 2 wins is like a, oh, wow, nice. 3 wins, people would lose their minds. Do I sound like I have, like, Stockholm Syndrome if I say I don't think we're that far away from something like that happening? Where is the players-only meeting is my question. Where the fuck is that? Where is the, and maybe it happened and we're just not privy to it. Maybe it'll come out at some point soon. Where is the players-only meeting? Doesn't that feel like the stamp of like, okay, they understand that shit is going wrong? And Cade knows that shit is going wrong. He had some great quotes last night. Let's read some of them. It's going to take me a second to pull them up here. Here we go. This is actually from James, the quote. Well, James Edwards III got the quote from Cade. We got to be realistic about the situation. It's hard to just be like, we're good. You know what I'm saying? Because we're bad. We have to address that. We have to address that what we're not good at. Address it not only with our words, but also on the court. And then also James asked Cade about the concern around the competing level tonight against Toronto. Pistons have lost 10 straight. Cade says it's unacceptable. We're the youngest team in the league, scrapping and clawing for everything. That should be the last thing that needs to be asked of us or talked about, how hard we're competing. That should be a given. When we wake up in the morning, we should be like, we got to get to the court. We shouldn't have to ask. That's something me and Stu are trying to stay vocal about. All of us have to come with it. He knows. There's pressure there. There's real pressure there. The Pistons aren't, the front office cannot afford to kick the can down the road, man. Like, the Pistons won a championship 20 years ago and have not been relevant for like 15 years. Because once we took that nosedive, we like took that nosedive hard. None of these guys are on the team this week.
Computers
None
now
of them.
have primary control.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Primary control.
beautiful,
Primary control.
beautiful,
Primary control. Beautiful.